All right, hello and welcome to Uptown Bills. Thanks to everyone joining us here in the coffee house and watching us at home. We do this every Thursday night. You might notice I am not Tom. My name is Abby. I've been a volunteer here for a while. I was gone for the summer, but I've made my grand return. So a little about Uptown Bills before we start. For those of you that don't know, we're named after Bill Sachter, the guy in the beard right back there. Bill spent most of his adult life in an institution in Minnesota until one day, with the great deinstitutionalization of the United States, he made a friend, Barry Morrow, and followed him down here to Iowa City. Bill became a bit of a celebrity around town after he opened a coffee shop in North Hall called Wild Bill's Coffee Shop, which is actually still there today. I work there as well. And then it kind of grew as more people got interested in what was going on, and eventually it evolved to include Uptown Bills here, which there was another location that we moved from a little while back. But we do a lot of things here at Uptown Bills, one of which is our Thursday night open mic, which has been going on for quite a while. So first up tonight, we have Beat Prairie, who will be joining us in just a second. And then we have a special guest all the way from London, is that correct? London originally, all right. Joe, right? All right, so we'll be having Joe up here in a little bit, but first we have Beat Prairie. You ready, Beat? Mr. Prairie?
Just trying to silence my device. Mr. Prairie. Mr. Prairie. Thank you.
Yep, it's all yours.
She said, "It's all yours." I've got a lot on my mind, I tell you. Let me just explain you something. I didn't rest well. I went to the doctor in the morning yesterday. So when he got finished, he wanted me to go get an x-ray. So I went on and got an x-ray. Then I got home from that hungry as the devil. So I ate and then took the dogs for a walk. Well, what do you think? Well, that was a real epic, very unusual walking of the dogs. But then the day went on and on. And the last thing, just before 5 o'clock and they closed up, the doctor's office called and said, "We got your x-ray back. Call the doctor early in the morning." I didn't rest too well last night. What the hell would he want to be calling me? Was I going to die this week from something they found in the x-ray? I don't know, but I sure stayed up all night worrying about it. So right now I'm not feeling much better than I look, but I'll go ahead and do something for you while we're all in this world together. By the way, when I went to the doctor this morning, they said, "Nah, nothing to report." And I'm like, right. And my practice wasn't so good. So you're in for it, guys, but stick with me. I'll get out of here pretty soon. I think I'll try this one first just to do something. This is a monk tune named Blue Monk. Thank you. Complete with raspberries here and there. A couple of clams thrown out there. Oh, well. Let's see. Okay, I'll play. I think I know this one good. This is called Goodbye Porkpie Hat by Charles Mingus for Funeral March for for Prez. I forgot his name. Slips my mind. This age, a lot of things slip your mind. Slippery mind age. Boom. Crashed the bell on the stand. That's always handy. I wish I could do something with that. Oh well. Have to include it in the act with my oldest horn. All right, that was Goodbye Porkpie Hat, and that was Lester Young that it was written for, because he always wore a pork pie hat. And he was named by the jazzerati of the day as the president of jazz. Okay, from the chicken shack of my mind, I'll bring you the work song by Nat Adderley. Chicken Shack Jazz. That's thank you very much. That's 3 from me. I think we're time for the act. Thanks for letting me do this. I promise I'll be back at my lesson on time next week.
All right, thank you very much. It's comical in a way to get this call from the doctor. Please call right away in the morning, and then you call, and nothing. Did you get to keep the X-ray?
Yeah, they just sent it to the doctor.
Oh, okay. Tell you a couple things about coming up. Saturday night, we have a taste of the Fiddler's Picnic. This is a great big event every year that's held at the end of September. This year it's on Saturday, September 24th. But you get a preview if you come here on Saturday night. Dennis Roseman has rounded up some of the premier fiddlers in the area to come and perform here to give you an idea of what's ahead. So that's Saturday night at 7. Also Saturday we have folk singing, community folk singing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and a performance right before the folk singing from the Infinity Dance Company. This is a local company that uses folks who walk on their feet and people who use wheelchairs, and they're mixed together into a dance company. We got a little bit of them on Labor Day, but they'll be back for something more on Saturday afternoon. Let's see, I don't see Samantha, so we'll plunge right into the drawing. And Maya is coming up, helping us out tonight. You met Abby already, plus Maya and Emily is over there. You'll meet her in a few.
Okay, so today we are giving away first The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, and that is going to go to Chris. And the other book we're giving away is The Unlikely Celebrity, which is the story of Bill, for which we are named, and that goes to Tanner S.
Whoa, the excitement. Whoa. Okay. I wrote a little something. I was thinking this last week how I got into this field. My academic field is social work. And I was introduced to, I guess you would say, social worky things as a volunteer in high school. One of the people I met very early was Charlie Brown, the person on whom the Peanuts character is based. And so I wrote a little story about this, which I'd like to share with you. "What do people call you?" Charles Schulz asked his friend in art school. "Everybody calls me Charlie Brown," was the reply. That's how the late Charlie Brown recalled the conversation in which Schulz asked if he could use Brown's name for a comic strip character. "He showed me this chubby little guy without a lot of hair," Brown remembered, adding he was somewhat surprised. "I was expecting someone more like Steve Canyon or Superman." I heard Charlie Brown tell that story a number of times over the years. I thought of it again last week when I heard from a former coworker who's also a Peanuts fan. I was 16 and a junior in high school when I met Charlie Brown, who was a social worker at the Juvenile Detention Center in downtown Minneapolis. I was one of a group of high school students he talked to about volunteering at a group home called the Home of the Good Shepherd in St. Paul. Mary Hartman, a friend of mine, had talked me into this volunteer assignment. I thought it would last for just a few months, but it turned into a commitment of organizing social activities at Good Shepherd for about 5 years. Chief among our tasks was importing boys and bands to the group home. It was a girls' group home, so they needed boys to have social activities. I can remember a number of times running up to bands at local night spots and asking them if they would play at Good Shepherd. I also frantically organized carpools, trying to match those who could drive with those who didn't have access to a car. After a couple of years, I ended up in charge of this volunteer effort, and I got to be the one to call Charlie Brown and ask if he would talk. I can still see him standing in the living room of the youth center on Park Avenue in Minneapolis. Each year, he would show us this giant-sized cartoon strip that Schulz had drawn for him. It was the sketch with Lucy and Lucy's holding the football, and Charlie, of course, thinks this is the year he's going to be able to kick the ball, and Lucy pulls it out at the last minute. I do remember thinking how much he looked like a grown-up version of the little guy Schulz created in the comic strip. Somewhere I still have a photo which shows that resemblance. In it, the real Charlie Brown is holding a large sketch of the cartoon guy of the same name. Charlie Brown died some years ago, but he left a legacy in the careers a number of us have chosen. He, along with a few other people I met around the same time, started me on this path. I actually had a chance to meet Charles Schulz and tell him of Charlie's influence on my life. The moment came a year or two after Brown died, and I was at the opening of a Schulz exhibit at the Oakland Museum in Oakland, California. It was called The Art of Peanuts. Schulz was there, and we had a brief chat. His manner reminded me a lot of Don Fraser, who had been a mayor in Minneapolis, where I grew up. Both were very reserved, almost shy. It looked like if you went up to them and said hi, they might just run away, even though they were often at the center of public attention. Schulz fondly remembered his friend Charlie Brown. It was a wonderful moment. My friends and family will tell you that I have been a fan of Peanuts for a very long time. Over the years, they've sent me all sorts of things related to the cartoon strip: toys, cards, shirts, decorations, and even Peanuts macaroni and cheese. The noodles are shaped like the little Peanuts characters. When I was elected student body president at the University of Minnesota, my campaign manager commissioned a sweatshirt with Charlie Brown on the front. Underneath were the words, "Oh my God, I'm president." Malcolm Moose, who was then the university president, admired the sweatshirt on one occasion. I told him I'd see if I could get him one too. I presented it to Moose at a Board of Regents meeting. Our pictures ended up on the front page of the Minneapolis Tribune the next morning. I was thrilled, but a little bit worried. United Features, the company which distributes Peanuts, has a reputation for aggressively pursuing any authorized use of the cartoon characters. I was sure I'd hear from them, and maybe they'd put me in jail or something. But I never heard anything, and here I am, and I still have the sweatshirt. Thank you. Let's see, Emily's been gathering your thoughts on tonight's question, and maybe she'll come up and share them with us. And then we've got Joe coming to us from London via New York. So,
all right, so the question for the night tonight was, if there was a movie or book about your life, what would you want to title it? We have Life in the Fast Lane. Oops. If Good Looks Could Kill, I'd Be Dead. The Phoenix Rises. The Struggle. And the last one we have for tonight is What a Long, Strange Trip It's Been. So, here we go.
One of our friends tonight, Tim, handed me this and said it was just to make sure everything was on the level. So I'm checking you all. Joe is here, and I was delighted to find out he'd also been at my other favorite coffee shop, the Red Rooster in Aberdeen, South Dakota. I guess I shouldn't leave that here, should I? Not if he's coming up to play. So he'll be with us in a moment. Hey, those of you watching us, now's the time to go to the fridge, get a little snack, but come on back because we've got some great music for you. So. If you're interested in other music we have going on in the coming weeks, there's a schedule on the little table by the door, or you can look on our website, uptownbills.org, find out more there. And lots of other information. We've hooked up our Instagram and Twitter to the webpage so you can just sit there and be entertained for days at a time. All right. He's getting ready, folks, and you can't see him if you're watching us because he's off the camera, but he really will be up here in a moment. Ready to, you wanted to plug in, right? I did. Okay. Are you a stand person? No, it's not. Thanks for thinking of their ears. All right, let's do a little.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tom. Thank you all for being here. Okay. My name's Joe Holt. I am from England originally, but I live in New York now, and this is a song about New York. Catch me if you can, I will not be beaten down. Though the A is running local, and it takes an hour to get uptown. Another 60-hour week on aching legs and tired feet. The subway grumbles in, all hungover and baggy-eyed. We pack it to the brim, and it pulls away with a heavy sigh. Another day without a break, on creaking rails and rusty grates. It never waits. me out, I make my way up from below. I'm a 10-minute walk from home, and the summer sun is hanging low. I feel it creeping in, and I fight the bite away from skin. The doubt and fear attack, both from outside and from within. Will I ever feel whole? How do you feed a hungry soul? Then I'm in the bedroom where you're eating takeout on the floor. In all my life, my darling, I've never loved a person more. Thank you very much. Thank you. Does that sound okay? Is anything too loud? Am I rocking too hard? If someone was sitting there, I could do a stage dive, but I'm not going to today. Would you catch me? All right. Maybe later. I'm going to play a love song. So if you're sitting next to your honey, you can give him a smooch during this one. If you're not sitting next to your honey, you could just text or check your Facebook. In the secret things I think about with no one else around, there are lots of insecurities and things that make me frown. I am awkward meeting people, and I'm often tightly wound. There's some stuff about flamingos which I think are really weird. And if I'm on the subway, I'll admire a bushy beard. And yes, I'm planning out our wedding, just like you probably feared. We will build a forest cabin and we'll fill it up with books. There'll be several comfy armchairs and a couple secret nooks. And we'll kiss a lot in public and receive some dirty looks. And we will have a favorite restaurant we'll visit once a week, where the waiters know our names and so the bill is always cheap. And we'll be making love at midnight when the children are asleep. get stuck in words and images and finding ways to say I'm in love with you. I try so hard to be original, the pictures get hidden in frames. So I will write a song with G and C and sing it all the time. I won't focus on the metaphor or try to make it rhyme, nor will I shy from the cliche that I am yours and you are mine. I will age like a whiskey in the cellar of your grace, with our love digging ditches in the lines of my face, and my heart forever fuller, never running out of space. Thank you very much. Everyone okay? Everyone happy? I think it's probably easier to be like, if you're not happy, just raise your hand. I opened for a band one time at this festival, and like the audience loved them, which was really cool to see, but I didn't like understand how they were like keeping everyone so engaged, because it was like a 2-hour set. And then I realized every like 3 songs, the keyboardist would like stand up from behind his keyboard and go, "Is everyone okay? How are we doing out there?" And everyone would be like, "Woo!" But I mean, you know, for a 2-hour set, every 3 songs, that's like 17 times. So I'm not going to do that unless anyone wants me to. So if anyone is just like really unhappy or not having a good time, you can raise your hand or, you know, come up and tell me, and I will figure out a way to make it better. The song is about having too much to drink and sending a text. When we met, you were wearing a leotard tucked into high-waisted shorts. What you wore underneath, what was tucked into that, was a recurring thought. We got caught in the rain, with my blood against my veins and my heart under strain. And my pulse was keeping time with the wind's whispered rhyme, barely contained. That evening in the rainstorm, I was born again to find you. And in the deepest depths of secrecy, I long to be behind you. I guess our souls had been expanded to find things they weren't designed to. But to prevent potential pain, I closed my mind and reassigned you. So the days drifted by with your image in my eye. It was always worse at night. I got invited to a party on the 4th of July, and I went just to get you off my mind. And I drank till I was drunk and called your eyes a constellation. Mixing whiskey and tequila till my fingers lost sensation. And I stumbled down the avenues in drunken jubilation, and waited for the train so long I blacked out at the station. The morning came, tremulous and shameful. I is like a creaking door. My head was loud, furious and painful. A message from you said, call me now. So I called you now. In between the seams of where our lives are stitched together, the glue of me and you is even stronger now than ever. Nothing's really different since that night of heavy weather. Though our clothes have long been dry, there will be rain in me forever. Thank you. Only a little of that was about getting drunk. He stood on top of his history cold and thought about fantasies that he couldn't hold. All he could picture was when he'd been told, I'm leaving you. When he was a child, he hid under the stairs and saw through the door him pulling her hair, till one day at breakfast he heard her declare, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. They were walking together and holding hands, which soon were embellished by wedding bands. But he barely even heard her when she said in the sands, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. He was fine for a while, but he couldn't hide from leftover hatred and loneliness wide. So he wasn't surprised when his happiness cried, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. So he kicked his feet and knocked over the chair, and as he swallowed his mouth full of air, his mind turned to him and said with a prayer, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving Thank you. I'm touring my second full length right now, which is called The Person I Admire, and I have a bunch of copies over there. Last year I released an EP called Headwaters, and this is the title track. Time slides by at the speed of a cloudy sky. That's still not the reason I shake through the night without you. Stitched itself to yours. My feet were unsure, but I stood on the floor nonetheless. You just helped me do the rest. If you are a waterfall, I am the river below. Even though you made me roar, I made the current alone. I miss you now, like a ship would miss its prow. I say I can't wait to see you, but I have to know how, so I do. The waiting only makes it true. If you are a waterfall, I am the river below. Even though you made me roar, I made the current alone. If you are a waterfall, I am the river below. Even though you made me roar, I made the current alone. The river always brings me you. Thank you. Any tears? Anyone? No? You're just not willing to admit it. Everyone who has a free hand, could you hold a hand up and cross your finger for good luck? Just bear, yeah, thank you. All right, thank you. You can put those down. Thanks for the help. as I sat in the shirt you wore. We talked and never got bored. Reach to touch your hand, teach myself to walk on land, on sand, after journeys unplanned. It's the same as my fantasy, framing each bite mark you plant on me. Handwritten elegies have faded away like unwarranted apologies to memories. You found me, unbound me, stood tall and crowned me. Each nightmare falls lighter. I'm sleeping soundly. Something was amiss, hungry kisses and reminiscences laced with analysis. Dreaming forward now to a future without a doubt, devout to something I care about. I had a hole in my retinue, the bags under my eyes should have room for you. I wanna carry your residue, use it like Hansel and Gretel do. I'll follow you to brighter moons. You found me, unbound me, stood tall and crowned me. Each nightmare falls lighter. I'm sleeping soundly. Thank you. I do have to say, in New York, it's hard to find an audience that's this quiet. I think that's the nicest way of putting it. There's a venue in New York that I'm not going to call out by name, and I wanted to play there for a while because it has a good reputation. So I got a show there, and I went in and I started playing, and they didn't cut the house music while I was doing my sound check, and I was like, okay. And then the guy was like, all right, you good? I was like, yeah. And then he still didn't cut the house music. So for the whole show, and I played for an hour, and there was just other music going on, and some of it sounded good together, but some of it didn't. And this is just very not that. So I appreciate everyone listening, and thank you for being here again. voice inside my head, bringing up the dead, the man I could have been instead. I'm going down, way down, I'm bound to the man in my mind, intertwined on the ground. Pace around my room, watch the rising moon. I never feel alone with pockets full of stones. I sink to where his thoughts are grown. I'm going down, way down, I'm bound to the man in my mind, intertwined on the ground. I'm going down, way down, I'm bound to the man in my mind, undefined to be found. Thank you very much. Is there a cookie being baked, or am I having a stroke? Can you smell that? I got distracted at the end because something just started to smell really good. But I guess I am just having a stroke. All right. Oh, it's popcorn. Don't know why I thought it was a cookie. Lying there vacant, stare rolling around. I'm glaring at spots on the wall, unsleeping and steeping in problems I've found. It does me no good to remember them all. You've been strong all along, and today's no exception. But you've hurried and worried enough. And if you're picking up pain, you should change your reception and tune out the songs that don't lift you up and carry you away. We've been open too wide and can't hide any longer from these troubles like tides rolling in. But my darling, like starlings allied, we are stronger and take off in flight with the night on our